Hello guys, FeAge here, and today we have a special guest on the sauce, and it's JorDan, by the way. Good evening, everybody. It's Sunday for you guys. It's Monday for me, and hello, Whack, and hello, JorDan. What's up?
Hey, how you
Hey
doing
guys,
tonight? Yeah, I
thanks
think
for having me.
yeah, I think it's Monday morning for JorDan as well. I think it's almost what 5 in the morning there now.
It's 5 a.m. right now, yeah, and yeah, day has started already.
Well, for you, most gamers usually sleep in, but you're such an early bird that this is pretty much normal.
Yeah, but it has changed. Like in the past, I always stayed up like 4 a.m., especially when I had vacations. But right now, I'm kind of in the mood of getting up early and just start the day early.
What made you
Like,
start to do that?
I guess the whole trip in the US kind of changed me in that regard, and it just gave me the feeling of getting up earlier. It just gives me more energy, and I'm just fresher that way. So I'll just try to stick with that, I guess.
Yeah, I've noticed it in different ways too. I've actually read studies that say that people that stay up later actually have higher intelligence scores and stuff, but other times people who wake up earlier feel like they get more done or feel fresher,
Yeah,
so it's kind of a weird thing.
yeah, especially for me, like I'm kind of tending to get really sluggish if I just like sleep too long into the day. So I try it that way, and it definitely helps me. So I'll try to stick with that.
I like to do that as well because I have insomnia, and I just realized it when I start to wake up earlier in the morning. I sleep better in the night, so
Yeah,
I'm
definitely.
doing that too. Yeah.
Yeah, that helps me as well. Like the sleep in the night is so much better now. So
Yeah, I can imagine. That was one of the things that stressed me out a lot after I'd moved home from college. And once I was done with everything, is I'd stay up really late because I had nothing to be awake for. All I was doing was applying for jobs and playing AOC. And then
yeah,
before I realized it, there were a couple times there where I'd be awake for 38 out of 40 hours, and just it was really hard on me.
that's a lot. That's
Yeah,
really a lot.
that was a time when I couldn't sleep if I wanted to. It was really bad. I think that was true insomnia.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's kind of dangerous sometimes. You don't really feel it, and yeah, just goes that way.
Well, I guess aside from our sleep chat here, I guess we could kind of actually talk about actual AOC things. Well, we're in what would this be called? It's not. I guess it is the semifinals next
Yeah,
round. So it's
it's.
quarterfinals right now.
Hmm.
So now that we're in the quarterfinal stage, we know the results of or two of the matches have been posted live on AOC Zone. It's been the Tyrant and POG games, which Tyrant won for nothing, and then also the POZ versus RVK, which RVK also won as well. Congrats, FeAge and JorDan. Both of you are part of winning teams in those rounds.
Yeah,
Um,
thanks.
I guess we could kind of talk about what you guys felt going into those rounds and how you feel coming out after. And I guess one of you might know who you're playing next, the other doesn't quite yet. But I guess we could just kind of talk about what happened in that round and what you see for yourselves going forward.
Hmm. Who starts?
Let's defer to the guest.
Okay.
Okay, so for us, for the Tyrant team,
Yeah.
we were kind of really looking forward to play Posh because they are a really great team, and we have made some practice games with them as well. So we kind of knew that they were really, especially their teamwork is really, really good. So we were kind of prepared for some really hard games. But in the first game, it was kind of like they didn't prepare any good strategy. So it was kind of easier for us because I got slung. And that way I just had an advantage in terms of economy and also in army. So it was kind of easier as expected to get the first game. And the second game, I think that was Len Nomad, right?
Yes.
So that was kind of annoying to be honest, because the first four games until minute 4 and 59 seconds, they always used their restarts. And we were kind of pissed off actually. I mean, why would you choose a map you don't really understand how to get the positions? And so, yeah,
Well, I think that
it's kind
kind of is one of their better maps, but maybe they just realized that they were in a bad position on that one, and it just kept happening. And then at the same time, with the rees being, you get till 5 minutes, and
Yeah.
if the other team is going to re and you are going to, whoever calls it first loses theirs, I can see why you'd want to wait, but that is
Yeah,
frustrating.
exactly, because they did it for like 4 consecutive times. And
Yeah.
we were like in Skype and I was like, oh my god, what the hell? I want to play. But yeah, just second game was good again. We had a great teamwork and everything went fine. And also the two remaining games were just solid, I guess. But yeah, it was great games overall. And Porsche did a really great work in the tournament overall, I think. And I really hope they will finish as good as possible in the next round.
Yeah, I remember. Geez, I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh, I remember now. Sorry. In the round before they had a very big deficit to the ZZArg team and made an incredible comeback. It was like, was it 3-0 or 3-1, and then they made their comeback and took the series. I thought that was one of the more remarkable things of the entire tournament so far.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. Like they were 3-1 down, and they also had the deciding match of the 2v2, which was kind of the match point for Argentina. And I was actually really impressed. I got up the other day and I read the news and I saw that they actually won 4-3. I was really impressed because that's something I didn't really expect.
Yeah, usually teams that get out to a big lead in this are the teams that have a pretty sizable advantage. So when a team can make a comeback like that a lot has to go right. And I think that if it was played again, there are things that ZZArg would do differently, and I feel like they probably felt like it got away from them too. So I guess we'll have
Yeah,
to see what adjustments they make in the next tournament if they play together.
yeah, because it's kind of sad that both of these teams met each other so early because I just feel like both teams are so great and also the players are just so great as well, and it's kind of sad that one team had to drop out.
Yeah. FeAge, how would you describe your tournament so far
On
and in this
RVK
last round?
side,
Yeah.
you mean? Okay, so just a few thoughts about the POG, right?
Sure.
I was really sad that they lost the games, and I was really like I don't know why they played in that way. They didn't really had strategies made and stuff, and that's the high quality of the Japanese team. They are really good at teamwork and such. And I don't know. I think maybe against Tyrant everything went wrong, and they like played really bad games. I think they could play 10 times better, you know. But Tyrant is Tyrant, you know. It's
Yeah.
always really hard to play against them. And I think Age of Empires is not just about skills and things like that. It's about mentally prepared. You know, you have to be mentally prepared to play the games. Like on POG against our guys, probably our guys they rescheduled the games, right?
Yeah.
And maybe they were in a bad day because when you start losing and you see the other team getting closer in the score, you kind of freak out, you know.
Hmm.
So it's about mentally, how mentally you're prepared. But anyway, talking about RVK now, we're I mean we're really happy that we won POZ, and we're just studying next opponent. We kind of know we're gonna play, you know.
Hmm.
We kind of know the result so far, so we are pretty sure we're gonna play. So we are starting to study the next opponent, and we definitely need to start practicing because this next round is gonna be really tough. Uh, our last rounds weren't that tough, I would say. You know, we had some nice strategies and such, and we were really prepared for those games. So I would say they weren't really hard for us, but I think the next one is gonna be really tough. I think it's gonna be uh, the first big matchup for us, you know. So we definitely need to start practicing, especially me because I didn't really had time so far because of college and such. But yeah, I really need to find some time and start practicing for the next one. and that's it.
Okay. Yeah, I was thinking too. Gosh, I couldn't remember the. I had one thing I was gonna jump in with, but kind of went away from there, so we'll just go away from it. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to the final four teams here.
Mhm.
All four teams are capable of taking first, second, third, fourth. I guess Tyrant is probably the favorite. They've won the last three major tournaments and team games, and they have not lost a game in this tournament. Or how many games did you guys lose in Tribal Wars? Did you lose any?
I think 2 or 3. I'm not sure
I think
about
you're
that.
right. And then I don't think you guys lost a single one in Psy Cup.
No, we didn't.
And those are the
Uh,
two main tournaments that you guys have played together since you and Viper joined.
exactly. I remember in the Psy Cup we didn't lose any game. We just went 9-0. And in the Land Nomad tournament, I think we lost 1 against RVK and maybe 2 against the Chinese team. So 3 in overall, I guess.
I'm interested on the next round. It's gonna be. Oh, I don't know if I can say the result. Can I?
Mm, probably not. We should probably not spoil anything. We know the result of one other match,
Mhm.
but it hasn't been posted yet. So for anybody who might be watching this and will still watch the recorded games, we won't
Mhm.
spoil it. I guess whatever we were going to talk about on this one, we can talk about later this week if we have a show or next week.
Yeah, sure, sure.
I feel like
That's
this,
gonna be. It's gonna be interesting.
I feel like I should make a comment right now too. The reason that we went probably 2 or even 3 weeks now without a show is because, well, FeAge lost internet. That was part of it, but I also got very, very sick and just didn't have the energy, and I actually lost my voice for a little bit there too, and it was just not good. So we're back now. We're gonna try and stay consistent throughout the rest of this tournament at least, and hopefully thereafter. And after this tournament, actually, there's well, I can't remember the exact start date that the guy proposed, but there's a smaller tournament. It's a 4-player invitational mini tournament where JorDan will be participating, Viper will be, Riot, and Chris. And I guess we could kind of talk about that a little bit right now.
Mhm.
Do you remember the exact start dates of that?
We don't really have set up any start date yet, but it's about to start right after the tournament finished, like the one we have now.
Okay. Has he told you guys the settings yet? I can't remember in the thread if he had posted them.
The settings. It will be first of all, it will be 4 players, so round robin. Everyone plays against each other, and it will be a best of 7, if I'm not mistaken. And it will be everyone has 3 home maps each, and the last map is I think Arabia, if I'm not
Okay.
mistaken. Yeah. So and after all these games have been played, you will have a first, second, third, and fourth place, and the final matches will be the first against the second place to decide the winner, and the third against the fourth to decide the third place. I just I just guess to get some more games into it.
Yeah, that'd be kind of cool though. I'm trying to find the thread right now. I wanted to double check a couple other things, but it's fine. I think well, if I think he's planning on starting it right after this tournament too. So like, how does your training change when you go from tournament to tournament? Like, do you always want to play 1 versus 1? Do you feel like that helps you out a lot in terms of team games? And then I'm assuming you don't want to play team games when you're prepping to play Chris or somebody like that. So how do you prepare in games like this?
Sorry, can you say that again, because my
Oh.
dad just joined in.
Oh, Jordan's dad.
I'm
I
sorry.
was saying, how does your preparation change going from one style of tournament to the next? Because I know that normally you would play probably a lot of your games with Viper, but him being one of your main challengers, and I think he's won the last 1 or 2 tournaments that he's played 1 versus 1 in. I'm guessing you don't want to give a whole lot away to him at the time. So how do you go about changing your preparation patterns?
Well, actually, most likely I will just stick to play with Viper, because he's just such a great player, and the thing I love about playing him is that he's really fast, and if you play him, you have to be on your fastest speed as well. Like, you have to be really crushing your keyboard just to keep up, and that's what I actually need the 1v1s for, because you need really a high speed, and that's what I love. I don't really like the balls. It's kind of boring for me to train. So Viper is a great opponent. But yeah, as you mentioned, it's kind of difficult because he's a potential opponent. So I'll definitely have to find some other people to practice with, especially if I know that I'm against Viper the next round. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'll see. But yeah, in terms of changing from team games, training games to 1v1s, that's not really a big problem for me because I really enjoy playing 1v1. And
Yeah.
yeah, sometimes the team games can be kind of exhausting, let's say.
Have you always been a one versus one player? Because I remember I didn't play for that long before you had joined Tyrant, so I never really thought of you at the time as much of a one versus one player. But then I remember, I think it was in WCL 7, and I can't remember if you played. I think you beat Dot in that tournament in the final stage in one versus one Aztecs, and I remember just being thoroughly impressed. I thought it was one of the coolest things I'd seen somebody do in a one versus one. But then again, I hadn't seen that many people play them. So do you think you've always kind of been a one versus one guy, or did you just kind of learn it later on?
That's a good question. I think I started with 1v1 and I hadn't been a great team game player, but I just think my style really changed a lot into macro orientated gameplay. And since then, I kind of think like my strengths are more in team games, especially because of my macro. It's just there where my strengths are, and I just love it. Like the
Yeah.
later the game is, the better I play, and that's how it is. Like in 1v1, someone can go all in feudal or dark age, and really apply big pressure to me.
Yeah.
That's kind of the situations I struggle with. But in team games, you don't really have those occasions, so
Yeah, because if somebody overextends themselves in a big push early, then you all of a sudden you have Viper or Dot, their Cobb coming in and killing them with 15 knights on their little
exactly. So
push, and it's worthless.
exactly. So that's kind of risky in team games. You can't really go for that.
Yeah, I much prefer team games as well, but I know that if I want to ever improve myself, I probably do need to get some experience in one versus one settings.
Well, that's the like in my experience, it's the only thing that's which really helps you in the short term. I'd say like it helps you fast. Like
Yeah.
you can improve really fast in just 2 or 3 weeks just by playing 1v1s.
Maybe I'll have to try it out. How about you, Feig? Do you consider yourself more of a one versus one or a team game guy?
Team game guy, definitely. I hate one versus one, to tell you the truth.
But
I always hate it.
you did pretty well in the WCL too, though.
Yeah, I did, but like, I hate playing one versus one, man. I always hate it. I don't know why. I feel like when I go to play on rating one versus one, I just hate the way people like do everything for the rating. But
Yeah.
like lately, I became such a lamer that I don't really care anymore. You know,
Lately.
I, people get more angry with me than I get with them, you know, just by laming. And I think I got actually pretty good at laming because every game now that I see a boar, I just don't miss it. I just take it, just by the fun, you know. It can be even like Scandinavia or Yucatan where you have like fucking 10 boars. I'm gonna get it anyway, you know,
Yeah.
just because my fingers itch if I don't get the boar.
Gotta steal two at once then.
But yeah, I'm definitely a team game guy. I love to play team game with friends. You know, it's just really fun. The only problem is to find games is really hard lately, especially. So we spend a lot of time trying to find players to play. You know,
Yeah.
and that can be a bad thing about it. But overall, I guess team game is always funnier to play.
Okay, I got
But
one.
yeah,
Go
I
ahead.
definitely agree with what Jordan said. If you want to get better, if you want to improve, definitely one versus one will be way faster. You know, you can get really good with team games, but with if you play one versus one, you're gonna get like 3 4 times faster than playing just team games.
Well, if I can break 2K just by playing T games, maybe I should one versus one more. But I kind of
Hmm.
want to ask you guys, or well, I guess both of you, but Since JorDan is our guest, we'll ask him again first. One last thing, and then we'll do a quick commercial and then move on to the second half.
Mm-hmm.
What? How would you describe what it's like to train with your team? We kind of talked about that a little bit in terms of like prepping for like a 1-versus-1 tournament, but what's it like to team with guys that have that kind of work ethic towards the game, where they put in the time to know what the other team might want to do, what you guys want to do for each map, and how you all fit together?
Well, I actually love playing with these guys because all of them are dedicated to the training games and to the tournament, just to the game and overall. And I just love that, to be honest. I don't like the people who are just like really sluggish and you have to run after them and just tell them come on that time so we can
Yeah.
get some training games maybe. So no one's is like that. It's just someone says just beyond 13 GMT we'll have some clan matches and everyone will show up. And that's what I really appreciated. And also it gives me a better enjoyment for the game because you don't really have to wait to get a good team game. And also it's pretty interesting because every one of us has a certain experience, has a certain knowledge in the game, of the game, and that's why we have those big discussions about strategies on certain maps, especially the games, like the maps we aren't used to play that often, like the land, how's it called, light random
Yes.
games. Yeah. So that's kind of interesting sometimes, and especially for Golden Hill, we had so many discussions about strategies, what is better, what is good, and yeah, well, it's kind of fun to be honest. I mean, I have some experience with AOZ, but yeah, I just feel like there's still so many things that I just don't know yet, and it's kind of interesting, definitely.
Yeah, you guys have a really unique team because you're a really smart guy who's been playing a while. Viper's a really smart guy who thinks outside the box on a lot of things, and then you have Cobb and Dot who have 13 years of experience in this game. So you've really seen just about everything and probably could imagine just about anything off of that.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting because I just personally feel like from these 4 players, I would be the one who, maybe in terms of strategies, I'm the weakest one. Let's say it like that. And yeah, that kind of tells the tale. So it kind of explains how good the other 3 are in terms of thinking and mindset. And it's kind of like I learn a lot from them.
Yeah, and you're in a good situation too, because even though you might be able to defer to them as far as like what you want to do, you're mature enough in your mindset where you will do whatever it takes to make the team better.
Yeah,
and that's one of the things I love about you is you're willing, like all of you guys too, because I think it's because you trust each other so much. You're willing to take on any role because you know that if you're going to sacrifice something, you know the other guys are going to make the most of it. Like, for example, in the Land Nomad tournament, Cobb would routinely go aggressive versus 2 players with like monks or mangonels to slow them down and let the players behind him boom. And it was tremendously effective. And it's not by random chance that happens. I know you guys prepare and try and do things that way without even asking you. It's just too smart to happen without any discussion of it.
Exactly, it's kind of well calculated by us, and there's always a reason why we do certain things. It has it's been planned, and usually it works out. At least that's what we hope for.
Do you ever worry about somebody like FeAge catching on to your plans, figuring out what you'll do, and then eventually setting a nice trap for you?
Well, definitely. Like RVK players in general are really strong. Like really the top tier, and yeah, like the tournament, like we are top 4 now, like almost, and it's gonna be really exciting, to be honest. And yeah, we definitely have to prepare hard to be able to come up on top. So yeah, but I guess RVK will be the hardest opponent.
Yeah, I think that's one thing that people underestimate until they get to this level, just how much preparation goes in before they actually have the games even be played.
Yeah.
FeAge, do you have anything that you'd like to add on about all this?
Yeah, you're totally sure. You're totally right about that. Like people don't know, but we actually discuss a lot of about strategies and such, especially on the light random maps. You can do a lot of strategies. You have to practice different situations because everything can happen on these kind of maps, right? It's always something different, something that you could do, and the enemy can do as well. So you have to counter it. So yeah, there's a lot of strategies discussion. By the way, just talking about how do I feel playing on RVK and such. I just love the fact that we have such strong players on our team. In my opinion, Dragon is probably one of the best team game players ever. When he's in top shape, it's really, really, really hard to stop him. So Chris is always Chris, right?
Yeah.
you know,
Not much more
Chris
can be
is
said.
exactly. Chris is a really, I think it's
Yes.
methodic player. Like he knows everything. He's like Kakab in my opinion. Kakab knows everything about upgrading time. He's kind of a freak about that, and I think I don't know if it. I think Kakab is one of those guys that watch a record game of a player and he knows exactly what is the weak point of that guy and what is the strong point of that guy, and pretty much can say everything he will do in the games.
Hmm.
And Chris is a guy like that. Chris likes to study opponents and things like that, so he's kind of a freak and methodical about that. And I enjoyed the fact that he does that because it's really important on this game. You have to know your opponent. And Avery is a really, really old friend of mine. We like to play a lot of 1 vs 1 games to practice. Not doing that so much because we're not having a lot of time, but we eventually will start doing it. And Alive is alive. I can't really say much about Alive. I just love playing with him because we always tell jokes about each other,
He's a
especially on
character.
Skype. Yeah, Alive is a character.
I
But
know.
yeah, I'm really happy in playing RVK.
My favorite live games are the ones where you guys are typing to him like 5 or 6 times, and then you start all capital alive, and he just gives a question mark.
hmm I, I I don't know if you remember on Nations Cup we had our team, right. It was me, Alive, and Raf, and one game particularly against USA, I guess. They were slinging on Yucatan, and me and Raf were pretty much dead. And we were saying to Alive, man, you gotta help us. We need camels. We're dying here. Like we were saying that on the chat, and I suddenly said, okay, it's over, GG. And Alive said, why GG? What's going on? You know. I said, man, please do cartography, and he did cartography, and he said, oh, okay, GG.
We had a game like that this tournament. The first game versus ROR when I got landed and died. I was like, "Hey, I got landed." Nobody said anything. "Hey, I'm dying." Nobody said anything. "Oh, damn, why's your score low?" I'm like, "It's over." He's like, "What? Why?"
Exactly.
I'm like,
That's how I feel playing
page
against.
up on your chat. You'll get a full detailed analysis there.
That's how it
That's
is
some
playing.
teamwork right there.
Yeah, we have great communication.
Well,
Well,
lately, I'm playing with Alive on Skype, so it changed. Alive's not like that anymore. But now I have to be the guy that says on the chat. Alive tells me what he's doing on Skype, and I have to type it on the chat. But so far it's working.
good. Yeah, I remember Alive was actually one of the first guys I Skyped with, aside from Brian, because they were friends with Chris too. So I think it was like me, Alive, Brian, and my friend Wade, and it was a lot of fun. But it was kind of interesting too. To like, he was my first experience with somebody being from another country and knowing English.
But I think I know why Alive is like that. He used to be such a great 1 vs 1 player. And
Mhm.
he's so used to play 1 vs 1 that I guess he just focused on the game.
Yep.
He doesn't. Yeah, he doesn't
That's
like.
that's usually what I think too. One of my friends, Raw, is just so focused, so intense on the game that
Mhm.
it's hard for him to like just take his eyes away from the screen and check the chat too. But
Mhm.
he's such an effective player that you take that, you just deal with it because he is such a good player and does bring so much to your team.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I guess maybe it's time for a little break. We'll break for just a couple minutes and then we'll come back and do the second half.
hmm
Okay.
But like I think I'm
Oh, wait
not
a
gonna
second.
be for the second
Oh,
one,
that's right.
sadly.
And you know,
Uh,
I probably shouldn't break either. Why don't you guys talk real quick because I just realized I need to open up something else here quick.
okay. I have a question for Jordan.
Yeah.
It's actually a question for someone in chat. He's asking, do you guys set up strategies, especially with different opponents and with different strategies, or you kind of just see how it's gonna be on inside the game?
It's kind of like, for example, on the Golden Hill, we first tried to figure out which kind of strategy would be the most efficient one. If we go sling, if everyone just goes for fast castle, if would we show just dog outside or inside and all these kind of stuff. So we plan that before we know the opponent.
Mm-hmm.
And after we know the opponent, we just try to adapt to their style. So if they play aggressive or defensive, and so we kind of like assign our strategies to our opponent after that. And also, yeah, that's kind of it.
Hmm.
Okay.
Interesting. Let me take some notes here.
Well, I did fix our
Damn,
our little
that
ad
should.
problem. I didn't
Yeah.
have the page open for doing ads, but I guess we can run to it now. Anything else you'd like to mention, Fie, before we go in or before you hit the hay?
I love you guys. Have a
Well,
nice week. And that's it.
thanks for giving us the last bit of your life tonight. I know it's really late for you. I
Yeah,
think
I'm
you're a
really
trooper.
tired. I'm sorry for that, man. I'm
No,
really
it's
sorry.
no, it's fine. Get your
Hmm.
rest. This guy has to go to work and school at 6 a.m. tomorrow, so everybody should thank him for being a part of this late.
Yeah, I'm
Thank you.
sad. I'm sad. Tomorrow is Monday.
Me too. All right.
Yeah.
See you
Well,
guys.
good night, man.
See you. Bye
Yeah.
bye.
See ya. Bye bye.
We'll run to a quick 3-minute commercial and then we'll be back. Hi guys, we're back. FeAge has went to bed now, and we're going to switch gears a little bit here and talk about a recent life experience of our friend Jordan. He spent, what was it, 4 or 5 months here?
It was exactly 5 months.
So Jordan spent 5 months here in the United States doing an internship in California. So we're kind of going to talk about that experience and kind of what other aspirations he has for himself in life. So you want to kind of tell us how it all came about, like how you decided that you wanted to come here to study?
Yeah, of course. So, like 2 or 3 years ago, I had come up with the notion of going abroad to study there, and I have always been a fan of the English language, and I've always wanted to kind of perfect it. So I was thinking about either going to the US or to England, for example. But I kind of decided to go to the US because I'm also a really big fan of basketball. And obviously, basketball and US, that just copes together.
Yeah.
And that's why I kind of decided to go to the US, I guess.
You were here
So
during
I
a really
went-
good season too.
What?
You were here during a really good season too.
Yeah, exactly. That was really entertaining. Miami against the Spurs. But
Did you
yeah,
ever-
anyway,
go
so
ahead.
I just went to my department in the university. They helped me out, and so I ended up getting to California.
And did you get to pick the place that you went in California, or did you kind of get placed there?
I just kind of got placed there, to be honest. Like, I first applied at a job in San Diego,
Mhm.
but they kind of rejected me because something didn't work out. And then my second choice was Monterey. And it's kind of funny because my coordinator told me that Monterey or Salinas, it's almost the same. And that's what I thought, right?
Yeah.
I didn't really investigate anything. I just went there and was like, yeah, I'm gonna have a good life there. But yeah, apparently, as I experienced it myself, Salinas and Monterey, that's kind of a big difference.
Yeah. I remember the first time that we were kind of trying to figure out where you'd be and everything, and you asked me, "Have I heard of Salinas?" And I haven't been to California in 8 years, and I've only been there once. But my dad used to work out there, and when I mentioned to him, I'm like, "Dad, have you ever been to Salinas?" And he had two other friends with him out in our garage that day, and they all three turned their heads to look at me and said, "Why would you go to Salinas?" And I said, "No, I have a friend who's gonna go there." He's like, "Oh, well, that sucks." And so I came back and I told Jordan that they said it's kind of like a rough area, and it's kind of a more poor area. They said, "Oh, Monterey's beautiful, but Salinas, yeah, it kind of sucks. Maybe you better get a weapon for defense or something." And I came back and
Yeah.
told Jordan that he was really worried.
Man, I was really taking that into consideration, just getting a gun and just protect myself. I mean, wow, that was really a rough area, I have to say.
Did you ever feel threatened for your safety there?
Yeah, one time I did.
What?
I can tell you the story. That was kind of really frightening. So I went to Las Vegas, and
Okay.
right after I got back, I got picked up by my roommate, right? And
Yeah.
it was like 11 p.m. and we drove down to the apartment, and she told me that she has to get some groceries. So we went to this Safeway,
Mhm.
and yeah, you can imagine it was really quiet, silence there. And we went to the parking lot, got out of our car, and all of a sudden you can hear someone really screaming and shouting, right? And I'm like, God, what's happening here, right? And then I can see some guy. He was just on drugs, and he just was chasing us. And I'm like running faster, faster, just right into the store, right?
You just have to
hide.
outrun the girl, really.
What?
I said you just have to outrun the girl, and then you're safe.
Yeah, I just left her alone. But man, that was really frightening. So we stayed in the Safeway in the store, and I was really watching out, was really cautious about him getting into the store and following us. But yeah, it was fine at the end. But I was really scared that he was waiting for us outside of the store. But
I know you'd been working out. You could have taken him.
I'm not sure. Those guys were really crazy. Like, man, that's I was really frightened.
Man, I've had a wild time here lately too. I don't know if you saw on Facebook, somebody stole my bike 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I read about that.
That was fun. But if I ever find him, I'm gonna close that guy coming down the sidewalk. But I also well, I forgot.
That's
Oh, we kind of mentioned too what about you coming to the United States. I remember when we first started Skyping. This is probably almost 2 years ago now. Um, how you kind of discussed your English skills at the time as being not so strong, but now, like right after you got here, I know that you had planned on speaking English almost the entire time that you were here, as much as possible, just to get the experience. And as soon as you got back, I could tell in your writing skills and your speaking skills that it had a pretty good effect on you. Um, I think it's really incredible, man. I just want to congratulate you on that. I know that was a big goal for you.
Thank you very much. That means a lot for me. Yeah, it's been a really important goal for me. And yeah, I just think like I had the possibility to go here into the US with a friend of mine,
Hmm.
but I was like, if I come here with someone else, I will just keep talking German with him, right? And I mean, the main goal was to learn English, so I just said to myself, it will be tougher at the beginning, but at the end, I will eventually learn more English, and I guess that was the right decision.
Yeah. Um, would you say that you want English to be a part of your career in any way?
Yeah, definitely.
Do you want to
It's
do
really
like something internationally?
yeah, maybe. Like, I'm not sure yet. If we'll see, but I can just imagine myself just flying around the world and doing some certain projects for companies. And yeah, I just think like having a good English skills will definitely help in that regard.
Well,
So that's also a reason why I wanted to go abroad to improve my English, because I knew that it will be maybe important for my future job. So
do you want to tell people what you're studying in school and what you would like to go into?
yeah, so I study business computer science, and most likely I will finish my graduation in 1 year, and then I will have my bachelor degree. I will aim for a master's degree as well, though, because I kind of really enjoy the life as a student, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, and after that we will see what comes to me. So
It does.
yeah,
Some programs it does change a bit. There's some programs like where I went to school, physical therapy had a lot of young people like near our age in it. But then like there's certain programs where if you go back to school, there's or for your masters, there's a lot more non-traditional students. You're more likely to have somebody in their 30s or 40s play or in those as well. But I think it is
exactly.
still more likely that you would be a student. So sometimes the college student life gets away from the people in the master's programs a little bit, but I would say that you're still going to find your fun.
Oh yeah, definitely. But I also guess in Germany it's a bit different compared to the US.
Oh, good.
Like
Like
in
more,
Germany, it's kind of typical to get the master's degree after you got your bachelor degree.
you high achievers.
Yeah, exactly. We have to aim for that.
um,
Yeah.
well, I guess, what kind of a job would you see yourself doing then?
I do know what logistics is.
Yes, a little bit.
Yeah, so that's the thing I kind of enjoy the most, to be honest. I kind of like to optimize certain things. That's also a reason why I enjoy AOC so much. It's always about optimization, sorry.
Yes.
And yeah, that's what I really enjoy. Like if you send your villager there or there, and that's kind of what I enjoy. And also in real life, like having a company or working for a company and just plan all the logistic steps. That's something I would like to do, and that's where I see myself in the future, maybe.
Gosh, that's so interesting to me that you said that and associated it with AOC because one of the things that I think about you when I think of your style of play is your efficiency and the way you move resources around to make sure that you're upping at the right time and have the right balance for whatever units you're going to do.
Exactly, yeah. That's. I also love the economy upgrades timings.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's so important, and there is so much math behind that. when is it important to get the wheelbarrow? Is it too early? Is it too late? And when is it the most efficient?
Can I tell you
So that's
something about me? I don't know
what?
any of that stuff. I
Yeah,
don't know any of the math. The only thing that I go on is, okay, I have a lot of villagers on gold now. It's more valuable for me to get a gold upgrade now. Or I have a lot of knights. I'm going to try and get as many upgrades in those as I can. That's pretty much how I do it.
yeah, exactly. I mean, it's been like that for me as well. But like the last 2 years, I've been thinking about that much more now, and I try to find the perfect timing.
hmm
And
Yeah, and I
I
think that if I ever do want to take the next step, kind of like when we were talking about the 1 vs 1 stuff, if I'm going to
yeah
really get into it, then that is something I will study up on. And I'm a pretty good person with math and things like that. I kind of wish I had gone in for like an economics degree, but
yeah
I know that that's something that I could learn pretty well.
yeah definitely. It's really interesting. Really, I just enjoy it so much. Like you even stop villager production, or you take that into consideration just to get the economy upgrade. And that's, for example, something I wouldn't have even thought about in the past. Like, why would I stop villager production just to get a certain economy upgrade?
Because it makes
Right?
all the others more efficient.
Exactly. But I was like, but I won't have that many villagers, so I will be back in that regard. And yeah,
I,
it's kind of so much maths behind that.
I think a lot of people just get caught up in the flow of just trying to press as many buttons as they can as instead of making the right choice. Like HC, 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 we'd press that all day if we could, but
Yeah.
sometimes you just got to take it back and just make sure that you're your technology is keeping pace with the duration of the game. The longer it goes, like I think in most games I play, I end up researching the most amount of technologies, but I don't
Yeah.
always start out that way earlier. Like a lot of times, like a lot of people get some more early, but maybe that's something I need to work on for myself.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there are so many things everyone can still improve on, and that's what I love about the game. It's so hard.
Yeah, isn't it kind of interesting? I'll bet even now you're still learning a lot about the game, even at the level that you've reached.
Yeah, actually, like I feel after my break of the 5 months,
hmm
I kind of have become a more clever player.
I've
I kind of feel like I make the better decisions.
hmm I feel
That
like
definitely helps.
breaks help us simplify the game a little bit, and just that space away helps us get away from the same old patterns of going through the same motions and helps us sink in the knowledge and really be able to adapt it in a better way. As I feel like breaks are very important for people to develop.
Yeah.
But I mean, some people have said no, play, play, play all the time, 1 vs 1, as many as you can. But I think you should do that, and then you should step away, and I think it's very helpful.
Exactly. I mean, it's the same thing in sports, right? If you go to the gym or something, you need your recovery time to
Absolutely.
actually see some results.
hmm
So that's kind of like the same thing with AOC. Like you can go for crazy for 1 week, but then you kind of have to take a little break, like 2 days, and think about everything, and then just go on again and think about all the things you have learned. So yeah, that's what I think would be the best and most efficient way to actually learn AOZ.
Hey, I had one person mention one thing to me that I'd like to ask before I wrapped it up, and then one person is asking something in the chat, and I think I know the answer, but I think they'd like to hear you say it. Who would you say is your favorite person to play against other than Urian?
What other than
Other than Viper?
like Riot? I really enjoy playing against Riot.
Yeah, I kind of figured you were going to say that.
Yeah, and I can also explain you why, because Riot, I feel, is a guy who has really a fast-paced
hmm
gameplay style, and he's really aggressive.
Yeah, he
And
is. He has incredible control, too, with that
yeah,
speed.
like his micro is phenomenal. Really, it's so good. I would be glad to have his micro, to be honest. Like, I'm not sure if I have seen any player having like that good micro as he does.
I think it's so funny to watch his scouts just barely go out of the reach of a spear every time. It's always
Yeah,
like they are just on the block of terrain outside of where they could hit the spear, and they never get close enough to hit it. And
yeah.
it doesn't matter if he's switching screens or not; they're never going to touch it.
That's the thing, and it's really frustrating for the player who actually tries to defend the scouts. I
Hmm.
mean, I've experienced that a lot, and yeah, it's kind of funny. I really yeah, kind of acknowledge that.
Well, I had one other thing, and I've tried to keep this kind of show away from being an interview. I think we've done pretty well to keep it kind of a conversation, but I do kind of want to end on one kind of an interview thing. Do you want to do word association? I'll keep them pretty easy.
Can you say exactly how that works like?
That means I will say a word, and you tell me the first word that you would use to describe that, or what comes to mind. So if I say Viper, what would you say?
Okay, yeah.
Yes.
So
I guess we could start with him.
okay, Viper definitely the best friend in AOC I've ever had, and like oh, yeah, maybe the best player ever.
Try and keep it to one word.
Oh, okay, one word. Okay,
That's fine. USA.
big,
Germany.
safe,
Tyrant.
uh, winning,
AOC.
awesome.
Well, I think that's all. I
Okay,
think well, it'd be a good time to wrap it up here. We can run some ads at the end. I want to thank you again for coming on. It's always so much fun to talk to you.
thank you very much for having me. It was
You
a
bet.
pleasure.
Well, thank you everybody for watching again. I'm going to run some ads at the end here. Please let them run. It's going to generate a small amount of income for AOC Zone, and all that money goes towards a tournament that'll be played at a later date. So we're hoping to do enough of these things to raise some kind of prize pool. Thanks again for everybody watching, and JorDan for being our guest tonight, and FeAge, who had to go to bed early. My name is Dane, and this is the end. Good night.